So I'm here making another video on the headers. The last set I got were the 69096. And on Hedman's website, they said it would fit a 67 up into the 80s. I want to say it was 87. I forget exactly what it was, but it was in the upper 80s for roughly 20 years, 67 to 87, if I remember right. I'd have to look on my phone, and I'm videoing on my phone. So I ordered them, the ones I put on my last video. I thought about taking that video down. I might let it up. I had about an 1/8 of an inch clearance right here at the frame. I mean, it was just almost touching. And then down in here at the shackles, it was literally making contact, direct contact all the time. It was against. You could push it and make it give a little bit and let go, and you'd hear the metal make contact. So it was always against. And I even flipped these bolts around here, and I cut half the head off, and it was still making contact. So I went to the hardware store today, got new grade 8 bolts to put in here because I didn't like half the head being cut off. So I got another set of headers. Hedman said those headers would work. It said 1/2 ton, 3/4 ton, 1 ton, Blazer, Suburban, and Motorhome. It's right on Hedman's website, and they do not work in here. And when I talked to Summit Racing about it, Summit Racing said they do not work in these trucks. Summit Racing said you have to have this header. And this is the 69236. They're not quite as long. I think they're considered a long tube header. They're a little shorter than the long tube, but they're longer than the shorties. I actually had the exact same header on this truck from over 20 years ago. They're not quite as long. And the front and rear cylinder comes in to meet the inner 2 cylinders. Those other headers, I think it was this one, it came out and came the whole way across and come down, and the other 3 just kind of blended in behind it, if I remember correctly. I did cosmetically like the way they looked. I like the look a little better than these. But these are the same header as those ones. These are the 6923. Those are the 69236. I guess the 6 means they're ceramic coated. I don't know. But supposedly, this here is what's in the box. And these are what I ran on the truck. So I'm making a complete different video, or another video, on headers now. The other ones got sent back to Summit Racing. And, you know, it's no fault if anything Summit did. It's Hedman's fault, in my opinion, because I looked on Hedman's website and it said they would fit. Yeah, they'll bolt in there, but you're going to have metal to metal contact. So now we have these ones, and they're smaller and shorter. So I'm making a whole new video on my headers. This would be the passenger side. I'm just going to do one side on camera. I'm not going to do both sides on camera. It's all the same bag, everything. So that's where we're at with this. I believe this is the passenger side. Summit took them other ones back. I kind of feel like they should go after Hedman for it, because I even reached out to Hedman to tell them. I never heard back from them. nothing against Hedman. I like their headers. I like their product. The biggest thing I like about Hedman is the collector here. It's more of a leak-proof connection versus like a Hooker or something. Maybe Hooker a better brand. I don't know. But yeah, this is the same thing as them other ones. It's just they're ceramic coated. It is really hot, man. It is so hot. And this garage is a low ceiling, and it's not as hot as it was some days, but it's still pretty hot. So I'm here just dripping wet. I need 6 bolts. So yeah, these are the 69236. They're made in USA, which I like that about it. And the ones I used to have on here were just the 6923. And these ones should fit here. So I wouldn't be surprised that Summit Racing is going to put those ones that I sent back on their ding and dent area. I don't know. I don't know if that would be for sure the case or not. It wouldn't surprise me. And it's kind of a bum deal for Summit, because the misinformation is directly from the manufacturer, which is Hedman. So Hedman doesn't seem like they're really paying attention to their own product like they should be. Because when I talked to Summit Racing about it, they're like, yeah, those don't fit your application. This is a 1972 truck frame. And according to Hedman, it doesn't matter if it's half, 3/4, or 1 ton, 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. Blazer, Suburban, and Motorhome. And I can already see here, there's a lot more room here. I know I didn't put the gasket in, but I just want to do a little quick mock-up here. I guess I shouldn't have tightened these up all the way. Loosen them up a little bit so get them started a little better. But yeah, if you watched my first Hedman header video, you'll see I showed in the camera how they're making contact down here. These actually stay up a little higher as well. And there's a lot more room in here. A lot more room. That's good enough for now. But yeah, that'll clear just fine. I can already tell that there's plenty of room for the exhaust pipe to come in here. It can be bent inwards a little bit to clear the shackle. It won't be any problem at all. a much better design header for this application of truck. Yep, that'll work just fantastic. No problem at all. If I ever wanted to take the top bolt out here for whatever reason, I'd probably have to move the exhaust, unless I could get it just come out without hitting it with a hammer on the inside, but I don't see any reason I'd have to do that. So last week when I was over at the shop, that's helping me do the cab and front clip work. And the doors are primered now. They might even be primering the cab today. I don't know. They're trying to get it out of there. They got more work they're wanting to do, so they want to get that cab out of there, the front clip. But when it comes over here, it'll be painted. We're actually going to haul this on a trailer over there and lower it down on. We're not going to just haul the cab over here. We're going to be decided we get a trailer, pull the whole chassis over there on a trailer, back it down in their shop, and they'll lower it down with a vehicle lift onto the truck here. And at that point, the whole cab, doors, front clip, engine hood, everything will be painted, ready to set on. It could be a couple weeks yet. I don't know. It's not going as fast as I would have liked it to, but it's going to be way better than if I was just doing it alone myself. And this garage is 25 by 25, and it's very cluttered right now. I almost can't hardly walk around because I got so many boxes. Here's the engine hood. Here's the bed. I'm not throwing boxes away just in case I have to take anything back. I have to keep the cardboard boxes. So I got boxes everywhere. But once the front clip is on with the cab, I'm going to have a big fire burning cardboard boxes. I just have to hang on to stuff for a little bit yet. But I that. That's a lot better this design of header for this truck. I don't know if the square bodies are different in through here. I know the spring perches are the same. This axle's out of a square body. I don't like this axle. I mentioned in my last video, I really don't want to use it. I could, technically it would be no problem to use it in this truck for how I'm going to use this truck. This truck is never going to be sled pulling, going rock climbing, going mudding. I believe this axle is a 28 spline. This is the GM corporate. It's based off the Dana 44 or similar anyhow. I think from the ball joints out, it's all the same. If my understanding is correct there, but from there in, it's different. So I don't really care for it. I'd rather have a big hub Dana 44 for the looks. The outer hubs look really nice on these trucks. Looks really good. A Dana 60 is what I'd really like to have. But this truck really never is going to need, it wouldn't need anything other than what's here for how this truck's going to be driven and treated. It's going to be a pavement princess. It's not going to go back gravel roads. It's not going to go mudding. It's not going to drive out in the snow. I'm not going to intentionally put it out in the rain. I'm not going to say it won't be somewhere it rains. But from like November to April, this truck is not going to be outside. It's going to sit in here. Now this garage ceiling is low. With these tires, I will be able to back it in with the cab on. But the wheels and tires I'm going to get, it wouldn't clear inside the garage door. So anytime I take it out, I have to switch my wheels and tires around until I replace the whole structure of the roof of the garage. I want to raise the walls 2 feet for sure, maybe more, but at least 2 feet. That would be high enough that I could just back it right in here without any trouble. And the old garage door's kind of worn out anyhow. I'll get a new door. But I'll show you here in a minute how this header looks. But it's a lot more room. I can put my fingers in between the lower part of the C channel there, and it's just about a finger width up here. Not quite. It's at least a ½ inch or so. The other ones, it was maybe an eighth. It was really close. And that's how these ones were. And when I ran these never made contact. So the shop that is doing my cab and front clip work, they do Cerakoting. And he suggested, why don't we just Cerakote these? He said, well, sandblast them and Cerakote them. And I was like, that sounds great. Use the headers that I drove with this truck, 20 years ago. I thought that'd be kind of cool. But I got to looking, and there's some pinholes here. That's a little more than a pinhole. The driver's side had a hole here about the size of a quarter. So when I seen that, I told him, I said, we're going to scratch that idea because they're rusted through. So I'll just hang them up on the wall, and we got these. So that's all right. But I'll bring the camera over here and show you this. The boards wobble in my floor when I walk. That's why it shakes the camera stand. But cosmetically, I did like the other one. This come out and come the whole way back and then went down. So that was kind of neat looking. It had this badging like right on here somewhere. But I'm not complaining at all. This is a lot more room right here. And then down in here, there's plenty of room. And then you can see here, I got plenty of room for the off-road shackles I got from Hogback Fabrication to clear. Get this piece here and put on. There's plastic on there, but you can still get the general idea. So that won't be a problem at all. I think it'll work just fine. And there's where I said about I like the connection. It's like a coupler design. There's no gasket. Hedman doesn't use a gasket. It has another ring that comes over here, and it would line up 3 bolts around that flange there. There's one bolt hole in the bottom side. And so that's what would bolt your exhaust up to the header. It'll never leak. That's why I've always liked Hedman over Hooker or whatever. Yeah, these are the 69236. And these rusted ones I have were just the 6923. So maybe the 6 means they're ceramic coated. But I'm happy with this. This is going to work just fine. Not as long of a header, but I'm not complaining. I'm just glad that there's clearance now. I know I didn't put the gasket in. I just wanted to make this video. I'll put the gasket in and do the driver's side. But so I hope no one bought the 69096 Hedman header for this truck. I feel like I kind of put wrong information out there, but I don't get a lot of views on my channel, so it's probably pretty slim that somebody bought headers because of my video. But I got the right headers now. I'm happy to have them. They still look good. Maybe not quite as fancy as the other ones, but there's no complaint on my end. Oh yeah, and they have a date on them. These ones were made March of this year, March of 2025. And I was looking at these old ones, and I seen a date on them too. They were, where was that now? Okay, here we go. These were made June of 2001. I think that's how that is. 0601. That's what I would take that to be. Yeah, they weren't made in 06 because these were on way before then. So yeah, these have been June of 2001. So I went to Harbor Freight Memorial Day weekend and bought a new floor jack. My old floor jack was junk, and that jack works great. So far, it works fantastic. But I'll cut this video off here. Thanks for watching.